Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're talking about last night's Monday Night Raw and the man behind it, Vince McMahon. That's right. He was back. Better than ever. Maybe. It was a pretty good episode of Raw.
That was Eric Bischoff's theme.
I'm back. Come on.
Better than ever.
Thank you. Yeah, that was pretty decent Raw. Judgment Day might be splitting up. Don't like that. Don't like that at all.
No.
But I have an idea. I have a thought. I have a fantasy book, Larson, because we're a couple of nerds here at Going In Raw. And we're gonna fantasy book some stuff. But yeah, it was reported it's every Monday and Friday to a degree, I guess. It's always like, is Vince McMahon gonna be there?
It's eggshells, man.
Well, last night, of course, they're in Hartford, Connecticut, which is just apparently a bit of a drive from Vince McMahon's
Stamford
abode, wherever he resides. Or
he lives in New York City. I don't know.
He works in obviously Stamford, but
Stamford.
But yeah, so he was there. What happened?
Yeah.
What was the deal, Larson? Do you have the details?
Yeah, I do. So shortly before last night's Raw kicked off, I believe it was around 4:00 that I texted it to you.
Yeah.
That PW Insider. Sorry, PWI is the magazine. PW Insider reported, quote, Vince McMahon is backstage at Raw in Hartford, Connecticut. Given the proximity to Stamford, this shouldn't be a shock. It's the first Raw since the day after WrestleMania McMahon has been personally in attendance for. There are a lot of other WWE office execs at the taping as well. So given, of course, last time, as mentioned here by PW Insider, last time Vince was backstage for Raw ended up being possibly the worst Raw after Mania that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm, yeah, sure.
Well, go into this episode of Raw with some deal of trepidation.
Mm-hmm, yeah, of course.
Worrying, is he going to be really hands-on? Is it going to be garbage? Turns out it was a pretty solid show.
Yeah, right.
So what was Vince doing backstage if he wasn't ruining the program? Mm-hmm. Fightful Select reported that Vince was at gorilla position, and then PW Insider has some more details stating that Vince, quote, did not run the taping from the gorilla position, but his influence was absolutely felt. As we were told, he reworked the broadcast and changed the order of matches and segments to fit his vision of what he wanted. That resulted in a reconfiguration of the show, but we were told it wasn't overtly stressful or over the top in what was required. Mm-hmm. And later on, PW Insider continued, quote, unlike the last time McMahon was at Raw, there wasn't as much resentment or anger from talents that we are aware of. Speaking to one talent from Raw after the taping, we are told that a major difference is, as they said, the Band-Aid has already been ripped off. And that is an unspoken understanding that McMahon is back on the throne. Even if he isn't around every week, it's well known by everyone that he's back in charge and his decrees will be met.
There seems to be a new normal that has set in when it comes to the creative of the show. And it seems to be, and obviously the question is like, what's Triple H's take on this? Is he like, man, I can never just have the thing, But there does seem to be, if you look at what's been going on lately, the SmackDown episode with huge ratings and really well-written shows. Look at the pay-per-view record lately. They've been really, really good shows. Mm-hmm. I've always felt that Vince McMahon probably would be okay at big picture stuff if he wanted to continue doing creative. Now, I'm still really curious what like Triple H sort of unfettered would look like. We had a glimpse of that for a couple months. Yeah. But also, when you look at some of the black and gold era where he was completely in control, it wasn't like that was all great.
No.
It was hailed for having terrific matches because he did have a really good eye for who to bring in, the indie stars to bring in before AEW came in and sort of challenged their position on that. But it was also, there were issues with who are these characters? Why do we give a damn about them beyond just the good matches? We saw issues with the women's division. Last night we had 3 women's division matches. They were all given plenty of time. But it makes me wonder, long story short, is this mix of Vince, if you think back to the Attitude Era, Vince McMahon had the final say, but he had guys like Vince Russo tossing him a bunch of ideas, and Vince would weed out the crap, and then he would craft the story. And I wonder if maybe being there day to day, frustrating talent because of how Vince is and how he works, take that element out of it. And if all he has to do is get a script and be like, you know what, this doesn't work. Let's rearrange this. Let's send it back. And Triple H is the guy because one of the biggest changes has been character. If you see Rhea Ripley today versus Rhea Ripley under Vince, a sea change.
Yeah.
Dom Mysterio, obviously, a sea change. But everybody seems to just have the freedom or understanding of who they're supposed to be, which goes a long way.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it helps that you don't have someone in an office backstage dictating to you, well, this is who you are, pal. Like Vince famously did to Dean Ambrose. In a story told by John Moxley on Talk is Jericho. I mean, this apart from Vince being there on location, nothing here seems to be outside the norm. We've heard for weeks that Triple H and his creative team will submit a script. Vince will go over it, make adjustments, hand it back, and that's kind of what the show ends up being.
Yeah.
It seems like Triple H and creative as a whole is in charge of writing the show, and Vince is then tasked, if he wants to, with maybe doing some rewrites. And if that's the relationship that's going forward, and that's the extent of Vince's involvement, I mean, so far it seems like it's working out all right.
Seems to be pretty good.
Last night's episode they were focusing on wrestling and hit some story beats that need to be hit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And from that vantage point, it was a really solid show.
It was.
They gave all the matches time. There were stakes for virtually all of them. There was a reason that you're invested in who wins or loses. And really, from a weekly wrestling program, that's kind of what we asked for. Want to be invested in it.
Yeah. Money in the Bank feels like something that everybody's going after.
Yes.
And they talk about it and they're competing for it. And Bronson Reed's upset that he, as he says, ragdolled Ricochet, and yet Ricochet's in and I'm out. Bronson Reed totally is going to win that last chance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But even a guy like Bronson Reed, who after he came to main roster was like, man, is this guy going to find his footing? He's definitely finding his footing.
Yeah.
now.
And he got a good reaction from the crowd last night when he interfered in Nakamura and Ricochet's match.
Yeah. He's getting reactions now. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think for the most part, apart from Vince being there, this is largely kind of non-news. It seems like, again, apart from Vince being personally in Hartford for the show, nothing seems out of the ordinary in terms of how creative has been conducting itself over the last few months.
It's an interesting thing to look at, and that's why we do, because he there was a period of time towards the finish there, towards the end of his time, full time being the guy in creative, when the product was, I'm not going to say unwatchable, but my God, it was a chore. It was bad. And
outside the bloodline stuff, it was bad.
And the characters seemed to not really understand who they were. You could just see the loss of confidence in their eyes when they would try to do anything. And now stories move. They make the most out of every situation, seemingly. They go to Backlash for Puerto Rico, and what do? They load up, when it was strictly under Vince, Backlash in Puerto Rico would have looked a lot different. It would have. And I can't be convinced otherwise. I really can't. But they made the most of everything. And again, I have no idea. I mean, we've heard rumblings in the past about what relationship Triple H and Vince might have and how it might not be the warmest. And who knows, maybe he hates, maybe he dreads getting the scripts back from Vince, but it does work. It does, the episodes of Raw has been something that I actually, my God, enjoy and look forward to week. I really do. So, and I watched the damn thing live now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You sit through the commercials.
Well, I sit here. I do last night. I was, for the first 2 hours, I was out on my couch and, I putter around during the commercials because I like to putter around. But yeah, no, I have no problem watching it live these days. I really don't. And
so back to same night reviews. That's is what you're saying.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. No, not a chance. I'm even considering pitching you on next day pay-per-view reviews to be out after AEW because we were grumpy as hell during that review.
Well, the show itself wasn't that great, and there were some things that happened on that particular show that made us pretty grumpy, I think, too.
Yeah, I know. But man, I don't know. That's a conversation for a different day. But anyways. Yeah, no, man, I thought Raw was pretty good. What was the biggest thing you took away from Raw last night creatively?
I mean, it's a direction that I'm not looking forward to because I don't want it to happen. They're teasing tension between Damian Priest and Finn Balor. And I get it to a degree that Damian answering Seth's open challenge is an opportunity, Damian feels like, for him to prove himself, that he doesn't need interference from Judgment Day to procure and secure himself a championship title. He wants to prove that to Seth Rollins and to himself. I get that. And Finn coming out at the end of the main event to interfere, despite Priest telling him not to. Tension there. Add along to that, Finn's probably motivated somewhat by Seth talking all sorts of crap about his Universal title reign lasting less than 24 hours. And I get Finn's motivation to stick it to Seth Rollins, even if it means potentially costing Damian Priest his opportunity becoming champion. Could it be an interesting story? Absolutely. Do I want to see Judgment Day fall apart? Hell no. Week in and week out, on Raw especially, so the most entertaining stuff is the Judgment Day stuff. And I don't want it to end. So don't end it yet.
All right, man, listen. Clearly, given that somebody at WWE pays attention to this show because they booked perhaps the greatest feud of my lifetime in Cody versus Dom. They set that up on Miz TV. They're like, oh, Steve doesn't like Miz TV. How about if we load it up with his two favorite wrestlers of all time, Cody and Dom, right? So they're going to listen to this, all right? I know they're not. But hear me out. Finn Balor obviously is the biggest deal about, well, okay, there's Rhea Ripley, but in the men's division, that people who can go for the men's titles. Finn Balor is the biggest deal, right? You could do SummerSlam main event, Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. I think you could do that match.
Yeah.
What if? Because here's the thing about the Seth Rollins title. That title needs to get around a little bit. What's the best way to get that title off of Seth Rollins? Use all of Judgment Day. Judgment Day's 2 steps ahead. They're going to make it look like they're falling apart. And when Seth thinks they're done with and they've fallen apart, they're going to strike and Finn Balor's going to get that title.
Subterfuge is what you're telling me.
Right. Yes. God, I hope that's the case because they can't split up. They're so good.
They're so good together.
It hasn't been that long. This isn't. How long did the Shield have together? Was it 2 years?
A year and a half.
It was like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Judgment Day really only hit its stride post-Mania when Triple H took over. That's when they really started.
Yeah.
On
Finn
the path
joined a year ago. It was a year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't only until around SummerSlam, after Triple H took over SummerSlam.
Yeah. It's when Dom joined.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's when things started getting good. It hasn't been that long.
No.
It hasn't been that long. They need to stay together. And the only thing I could piece together in my head is like, come on, this has got to be. Even in their social media, when they take pictures sort of out of character at a Denny's, it's so nice to see them together.
It really is.
And I won't handle emotionally them breaking up.
No, I wouldn't be able to handle that either. No.
Right. And so I'm hoping, I hope that this is just an elaborate scheme to get that. Because could you imagine Finn and the Judgment Day? Finn's got the title and then Rhea's got the title. Oh my God. That'd be outstanding coming out of Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. I know it's not Ireland, but they're kind of near each other, closer certainly than the United States is. Finn Balor winning in London, the World Heavyweight Championship. I know it's not going to happen because he just won this thing, but a guy can dream.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too, is that, Seth beat Finn in the tournament on the Raw side of the bracket. So if you're going to have a rematch so soon, there's got to be something happening in terms of the story. Mm-hmm. You just can't have another rematch because they think it's going to be a good match. How is it going to elevate? How is it going to advance the story?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And if that means Finn, with the help of Judgment Day, because it's all a ruse, that there's tension there, to get that World Heavyweight Championship off Seth and on to Finn, that'd be great. Mm-hmm. That'd be great. Yeah, you could have Finn win it at Money in the Bank, put it back on Seth if you want to at SummerSlam.
Dude, let's get some Attitude Era booking with the freaking title. Triple H, that was his time, right?
Yep.
My time.
Make it feel like anything could happen on any show.
Right, exactly.
That's what's kind of missing, is that feeling of urgency on a regular basis.
And
feeling
the thing is right now, I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
That's fine.
The thing about like last night, right, when Damian Priest hits his finish, and because didn't Seth kick out of a South of Heaven or no?
Yeah, but sometimes Priest wins with the razor's edge. Yeah,
but Priest took forever to cover him. That's why. That's why he really protected his own finish there. Nobody really thought that title change was going to happen. And that's one of the side effects of Roman Reigns' title run. And in general, WWE going after these records is, we all know what a foregone conclusion is. You know, it's like, if you didn't do it with Cody, are you ever going to do it? And so, bring some excitement back to the title. And I'm not saying you hot shot or you hot potato it, but give us some unpredictability, give us a big swerve, give us a big plot twist, and show that Seth Rollins on his own, that's the main difference between him and Roman. Roman can't do it by and large by himself. Seth is one guy. And so you put it on Finn, and Seth has to then figure out how to beat the odds and beat Finn Balor. And what kind of, look, if they eventually do Seth versus Roman, which I think they should because Seth endlessly talks about him. What better way to set up Seth in that regards than to prove that he can that he can contend with the elements that Roman brings. Number one, losing the title maybe to a faction, but getting the title back from a guy with a faction.
Let's talk about another promising development, even though I don't expect to stick around. Seeming like we're going to get some semblance of a feud between Cody Rhodes and Dom Mysterio is set up on Miz TV. And I said this during our pre-show here. This is a version of Cody I can appreciate when he's sarcastic. Don't boo Dom.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious. And the crowd was like, at first, is he serious? Oh, we'll boo anyways. It wasn't like it didn't feel like the crowd got the joke right away.
No, they didn't. It's hard to do dry sarcasm to like a
But that was Cody this whole thing. It was like, oh, you're 15 minutes in prison. Oh, that was real hard times, wasn't it for you, Dom?
Your tattoo is almost as bad as mine.
Yeah, sarcastic Cody I can get behind.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. I thought that, traditionally somebody says Miz TV, I'm like, no, I don't want it.
Yeah,
pass. And I was legit even when Miz was like starting to hype up his special guest to Cody. I was like, who's this guy talking about? He brings out Dom, and I'm like, hell yeah, man. Yeah, and then Dom gave him the slap and then hid behind Rhea. That whole thing was good, man. It was a really good segment. And it does seem like they're setting this up. I mean, I don't know what's I saw like a rumor about like the possible stipulation between Cody and Brock, how like
for SummerSlam,
and I don't remember which thing it was, so I'm not going to really speak on it too much. But was that the rumor that it was supposed to go down at SummerSlam? Like he's not supposed to have the third match until SummerSlam. Okay, well he's going to need something to do until between then.
And I mean, maybe it's entirely possible that because Money in the Bank still about a month away, 3 weeks away.
Yeah,
they can kayfabe the healing of Cody's broken arm pretty quickly, and then he can be in Money in the Bank along with Dom. And maybe their feud can kind of build up to Money in the Bank, play out predominantly during that match. Maybe have a match afterwards that Cody wins, and that's kind of that.
Oh, they could always. I get the feeling that Cody's not going to be. He hasn't said word one about Money in the Bank. I get the feeling that he's probably. Is he in a qualifier coming up?
No, they haven't announced him in a qualifier yet.
Okay. I mean, dude, just do him versus Dom at Money in the Bank. He's
got a broken arm though, so he's not ready to wrestle in a qualifying match.
Dude, yeah. So just give him the Money in the Bank match, like a match at the pay-per-view, not in the Money in the Bank. Yeah. Next week. Hey, guess what, guys? Miraculously, this doctor said my broken bone will be ready to go in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then he can fight Dom because that's. I mean, dude, that's a match. That's writes itself, basically. You got the guy who's the most booed guy in the company. You got the guy who's got the biggest cheers in the company. You do that match. Of course you do. That'd be wildly entertaining, too. I'm sorry, but Dom is awesome, and my love for Cody.
Yeah, you like Cody a lot. One last thing before we get to the breakdown of the show. We got 2 Money in the Bank qualifiers on Raw. Becky defeated Sonya Deville. She's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Zoe Stark defeated Natalya. She's in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Correct. None of that was like terribly surprising.
No.
Great position for Zoe Stark, and also possibly a reason why Becky won't win Money in the Bank, because you got Zoe Stark in there working on behalf of Trish Stratus. So that's some good stuff right there, and it helps really elevate Zoe Stark to be in that position.
Definitely.
So that's really good. And then, what was the other one you mentioned?
No, you got it. Becky.
Oh, okay. Becky. And then there was another qualifier, wasn't there?
No, it's just those two, wasn't it?
No, it was Becky, and then who else? Becky got in, and then who else got in?
Oh, Becky got in. She defeated Sonya Deville, and then Zoe Stark got in, defeated
and
Natalya.
then Zoe Stark. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Where's my head? Anyways. So before we continue with our actual review of the show, you want to go ahead and pay some bills?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's take a quick break here. Good word from our sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. I know I mentioned this yesterday, Steve, but I've come to the realization after careful consideration that I've had more than my fair share of accidents, mishaps in my life, whether it be a car accident or 2 or maybe 3, or getting attacked by a stray dog, even pulling a muscle while bowling. Like I said, I've had my share of mishaps and accidents and such.
It's funny because those are legit. And I remember I was there when you sprained your ankle and it blew up like a balloon.
Yeah.
you're kind of a mess, dude. But I guess better than you than me.
What, you tell me you've never had accidents in your life?
I mean, no, I have, but come on. How many people have pulled their groin bowling?
But that's exactly what I'm trying to get at, Steve. Accidents can and do happen. I've been really lucky that I haven't gotten really injured due to any of my mishaps, but accidents can happen at any time, and you can be injured because of those accidents when you least expect it. And if you ever find yourself injured, you can check out America's largest injury law firm with over 100 offices nationwide, Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan has a proven record of getting their clients full and fair compensation. They've recovered more than $15 billion for their clients.
And Morgan & Morgan makes it easy to submit a claim. It's more like ordering takeout than hiring a lawyer. In 8 clicks or less, you can submit your claim, and you can do it without having to leave your couch. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/raw or dial pound law. That's pound 529 from your cell phone.
That's forthepeople.com/raw or pound law, pound 529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the time when you were driving us probably back from a 2K event.
Oh yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
You're trying to change to go into there's a junction there.
Off ramp, yeah. That was a stunt driver for a second there, huh?
you were totally a stunt driver there.
Hey, everything was fine though.
Yeah, no, everything was great. Yeah, we got a couple super chats here. Ricardo, still no surname, says that new belt is fugly. He says, "Ew." Oh man, I like the new mustard title. I like me some mustard, Larson.
Yeah, Steve loves mustard. We got 10 gift memberships here from Leisha Harding. Thank you so much, Leisha.
Gosh, thank you, Leisha. You're so incredibly generous. We really appreciate it. Alex Silva also has a super chat. Says Dom wins the first match with Rhea. Rhea keeps messing with Cody to hit her. That brings in Brandy at Money in the Bank mixed tag. Let's book it, man. Let's go. I like that. Ricardo
also says here, Dom can milk having a win over Seth in his early days.
Oh, did Dom get that win over Seth back then?
Maybe.
I mean, Ricardo still no surname says it, so I'm assuming it's true.
Was that SummerSlam 2020? That was when Seth was full on heel.
Oh, yeah, he was a big bad guy. Yeah. Oh, Maggie gifted 5 too. Oh my gosh, Maggie! Thank you so much for the gifted
Maggie.
memberships. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
The street fight, Seth won.
Oh, there it is.
So I don't know if that was Dom's first match. Maybe there was one prior to that.
Okay,
payback.
Want to bring this up as well. The gifted memberships, and if you're a patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, you get access to our bonus episodes. We do those every Friday. We do them live, or you can watch them on demand after the fact. It also gives you access to the big predictions challenge, which come August is going to go into overdrive. It's going to be nuts. I know it's a couple months away, but we're doing the big G1 predictions challenge, which is overwhelming even just to think about it.
It really is.
But the predictions challenge is always a lot of fun. Currently, John Hosey is the Big Blue predictions champion. So if you want to be the new John Hosey, or maybe John Hosey wants to be the new John Hosey and he's going to defend his title.
Hasn't happened yet.
Nobody's successfully defended yet. So yeah, be sure to hit up the patreon.com/Steven Larson or click join on the YouTube. It's also where we do our question threads for the recap episodes. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Shout out to Chris Garricks for the notes. We appreciate that as well.
Thank you, Chris.
So Raw kicked off with Seth Rollins. He does his little intro spiel. He says, in the midst of everything, I thought to myself, when's the last time we had a world heavyweight title match on Raw? He says, I had to go to the way, way, way back machine. It's been nearly 2 years. I thought to myself, 2 years is too damn long. So what I did was I went into the Twitterverse and I put an open challenge out for a world heavyweight title match here tonight in Hartford. That open challenge was answered by the Judgment Day's Damian Priest.
I
gotta be honest, I'm psyched about it. He says, last week I came out and I said, I want all the fights and I want the best, whether you love them or hate them. Dom, Rhea, Finn, and Damian are as good as it gets. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity tonight. As good as they are, they just ain't me.
And then Judgment Day's music hits. Damian Priest, Finn Balor come out. Seth's like, why? I'm saying nice things. Wait, there's only the two of you. Where's Dom and Rhea? Are they going to attack me from behind? Are they under the ring making out? And he kind of goes, ugh, to himself. And Priest says, don't worry about Rhea and Dom. They have their own business to take care of. You should be worried about me. And Rollins says, just you. Not just you. It's you and Finn. So I know you're boys, but do you do everything together? Does he open the door at restaurants for you? When you go down the slide, does he hold your hand? What about the bathroom? Does he hold your...
Whoa, Mr. Funny Man with his funny clothes. This is Finn now. And the funny dance and the funny laugh everybody loves. Seth freaking Rollins. Everybody just loves to sing your song. And the crowd, of course, does. He says, you know what you won't love is when my man Damian beats you and takes your world heavyweight title tonight. Priest says, I'm going to be honest. You're a deserving champion. Your resume speaks for itself. Everybody you were in the ring with, you beat them. But so have I. So tonight, the fact that you issued this open challenge means you got a set. I respect that. I want to be honest. I don't need Dominic. I don't need Rhea or Finn to beat you for that. And Finn sort of looks. He's like, what? I don't know about that. So Seth says, is that so, big man? Because I like the confidence, but if it's just you and me tonight, you don't stand a chance. So why don't you put your money where your mouth is, leave your crew in the back, and truth be told, it's probably best if you leave the Prince back there. He doesn't seem to fare too well in fights with me. And Finn says, no, you don't decide how this goes. We do. And Priest says, Finn, I'm cool with it, man. I accept. At the end of the night, I'll be new world heavyweight champion, and you're just going to have one of the shortest reigns ever. So Seth knows he's got a good one here. And he says, oh, I love it. You and me, one-on-one, no Judgment Day. But anyway you slice it, my title reign's already longer than his was, talking to Finn.
Oof.
Finn wasn't happy about that one. He says, see you in the main event.
Our first match of the evening. Money in the Bank qualifier, Becky Lynch versus Sonya Deville. And as we said earlier, 3 women's bouts. They gave them all time. Stories being told here. Some huge forward momentum in that regard. Is hopefully something that'll continue going forward, and we won't go back to the episodes. There's like 1 or maybe 2 short women's matches and barely any story development because it's good to see when it's going in the right direction. This match was a lot of fun because Chelsea Green kept on wanting to get involved. At one point, Becky starts throwing Chelsea into the barricade. Sonya comes ringside. Well, Becky starts throwing her into the barricade too. She puts Sonya back in the ring, looks for a manhandle slam. Sonya reverses into a roll to get a 2 count. When she kicks out, Becky's trying to disarm her on. Instead, Sonya kind of like flings her into the ropes. She gets a 2 count after Chelsea Green interferes. But then Sonya hits a few more shots, heads up top, leaps off. Becky catches her with a manhandle slam to get the win.
That's right, yeah.
And then Trish and Zoe Stark are watching up on the ramp. So Trish is...
Well done, Mr. Bond. Yeah.
Yes.
So after that, they replay the entire Bloodline segment from SmackDown. It's kind of great. So I was cool with that. And then backstage, Byron's there with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. He's like, hey, what happened on Friday? And Sami's like, I'm not the type to say I told you so, but it's nice to see the Usos do what they should have done months ago. Well, Jimmy did anyways. We'll have to see what Jay ends up doing, but honestly, Byron, it's not my problem anymore because, of course, on Friday they got this big, who's Jay gonna choose to go with? And then, of course, gentlemen, these guys are always hovering around Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And it's Kaiser Vinci. And he's like, you're right, the bloodline is not your problem. As long as you hold those titles, we are your biggest problem. And Owen's like, didn't you learn anything from last week? You can't come up here without being called out. We didn't say your name. They broke the rule again. Don't you have some turtleneck shopping to do? This is great.
And then Gunther walks in, barely containing his laughter. Every segment Gunther's in with Kevin Owens, he just wants to laugh the whole time. And
I just get
barely stop himself.
Gunther's having more fun than anybody else.
I think so. It certainly seems like
except for maybe Dom. But Gunther is having just the time of his life. I think there must be just a tremendous weight off his shoulder. Oh, Vince is up there, but I'm not out. You know, like I'm sort of proving my worth around here.
Yeah.
So anyways, Gunther says he walks up to Owens and Owens like, what? He goes, Mr. Owens, you need to regain control of your temper. You lack discipline.
What album is that from?
I have no idea, but I just remember 20 years ago, you, me, and everybody in that house we lived in were obsessing over there was the Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard.
Yeah.
And then there were these videos or audio files of prank calls.
Yeah.
Using the Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard.
So it's Kindergarten Cop. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds right. It's not a tumor. You lack discipline.
Yeah.
So he said, you really like discipline. I am a disciplined man. It looks like I need to teach you discipline. And Owen says, oh, you got a problem with my temper? I got a great idea. There's a ring out there with thousands of people waiting for me to see kick someone's ass. So come on, let's go. And then we have that match. And it's like, dude, hey, Vince McMahon, he's cool with Kevin Owens versus Gunther. I'm cool with that because this match was awesome.
It could be a pay-per-view match. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Totally. Yeah, this match was awesome. So Kevin Owens comes first. He yells towards the ramp, come on, make your stupid entrance. Imperium makes their entrance. Man, it's impressive every time Marcel Bartel does that bit with Gunther's jacket. It's so seamless.
I know. It's great. It looks like
well
CGI.
Done.
I know.
It's well
awesome.
done. Yeah.
Before the thing, though, they had like a Caden Carter and Katana Chance video package about
So
them.
they're keeping the their NXT gimmick for the most part. They like going to music festivals. They like to party. They like to have fun. But in the ring, all business.
Right, exactly. Even though the last shot we got was them in the ring and Carter was doing kind of a dance. So, but no, they're all business tonight. I thought that match was pretty good, but we'll get to that in a sec.
It really, I thought it went a long way in terms of establishing Carter and Chance as like
legit,
a tag team to pay attention to for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Back to Kevin Owens versus Gunther. I like they eventually built up to the chops. It didn't start off with a bunch of chops.
Yeah,
built up to that. Like they started the match slow with headlocks and stuff like that, and really let the match build. So down towards the finish, Kevin Owens heads up top, but Gunther chops him, hits him a huge superplex, gets the 2 there. He goes to the top rope, looks for a splash, but KO gets his knees up. So then Owens hits a swanton, gets a 2 count there. Then Imperium interferes. They get on the apron. So Sami Zayn yanks Vinci off. Ludwig Kaiser goes over, attacks Sami. So Kevin Owens gets out of the ring to help Sami out and hits Kaiser with a stunner. So he gets back in the ring. Gunther rolls him up to get the win.
Yeah. What do you think was a better match, Gunther versus Kevin Owens, or in the latest episode of My GM, I think it's week 7, available right now at Friendo Club Wrestling.
What a segue.
Gunther versus Stone Cold Steve Austin.
This match was probably better. I thought that match got good numbers, in My GM, but I don't remember it being terribly noteworthy apart from Gunther winning relatively easily.
Well, it was like a no holds barred or something like that.
Falls count anywhere, yeah.
Falls count anywhere. So he's able to use like kendo sticks and stuff like that. So he really, lit up Stone Cold quite a bit.
Oh, he wiped the floor with Stone Cold.
Also kicked out of a stunner, which is kind of unheard of. But, your Gunther is booked very, very strong.
Yeah.
And you had a really good performance. Of course, still in the lead right now. It's not really a spoiler. It's a journey that matters. WCW.
I guess it's who's in the lead at the end that matters most.
I know. We've got 2 weeks. So I think we're going to go to Summer. We got 2 weeks till SummerSlam. We're going to go to SummerSlam. We're going to do SummerSlam. We're going to see who's ahead then. And then I think we might restart at that point.
That sounds good. Sounds good. While we're taking a bit of a pause here, if you're watching this live or VOD on the YouTube, if you could, please. Thank you. Give this video a thumbs up, a like.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
We're new to this. We hear it really helps if the video gets a lot of thumbs up. I don't know how it works. Again, new. Also, if you like what you hear here, going in Raw, hit that subscribe button, that notify bell. So then we do shows, you'll learn about them.
It'd be like, oh, whoa. How did I not know that this show's on? Because you weren't subscribed.
You hit the notify bell. Subscribing's not enough, though.
Right. Yeah. You got to hit the notify bell.
Got to hit the notify bell. Otherwise, you won't be notified.
Right. Exactly.
Can't just subscribe.
Yeah. So after that, I like this. You know, Matt, they got to do a lot with Matt Riddle for me to care about him again. But this is on the right path. Kathy's backstage with Riddle. And he's like, I'm tired of seeing Gunther cheat week after week. If he didn't have Ludwig and Giovanni, I doubt he'd be Intercontinental Champion. And then Vinci and Kaiser walk up. And Kaiser says, how dare you talk about the ring general like that? You better watch your mouth. And Riddle just checks the shit out of him. He throws him over a road case, and then Vinci rolls up on him. He puts him in an ankle lock, and then like the officials sort of drag him away. And I thought that was good. And Corey sold it on commentary. He was like, man, I've never seen Riddle like that before. So look, the bottom line is I might not care much about Matt Riddle's character because they haven't really given me much. The prospect of a Riddle versus Gunther Intercontinental Championship match.
That'll be a good match.
Holy shit, that'll be a good match because Riddle is that guy when it comes to being in the ring, especially with a guy like Gunther.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a thing at PWG back in the day. They're around the same time.
Or Progress. Riddle used to wrestle Progress.
Yeah, probably Progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we get an interview with Shayna and Rhonda next. He asks, considering your friendship, how important is it to win these belts? And Shayna says, it was our destiny. We manifested this a decade ago before we were even done in the octagon. Last week, we attacked and maimed 3 other teams at the same time and finally became WWE Women's Tag Champs. So Rhonda says, it's past time we legitimize these. We invite any team with figurative balls to challenge us. So in steps Caden Carter and Katana Chance. And Chance says, you want a challenge? Look no further. Carter says that we are the life of the party. They introduce themselves. She continues, we came to Raw to make a statement. What better way to make our debut than against the baddest team on the planet? And then Rhonda says, do we land in Munchkin Land?
Ouch.
Yeah. She says, I swear we landed in Connecticut. Ladies, impressed with your stupidity. Impressive that you made it this far. And Shayna says, no. Don't confuse ignorance with stupidity. It's their first appearance. They don't know. I call it bravery. But what takes care of bravery? The sound of your ligaments being torn off your body. And Rhonda goes, baptism by fire it is. We'll let Pierce know. We'll see you in the ring. And then this match is like happens next. There's a commercial break. Match happens.
Yeah. I mean, was it supposed to be like earlier in the day or something like that? Maybe
no, I think it was like real time.
Look at Pierce. He's on it, man. So quick.
He's stationed there in Gorilla. You want a match?
He's just hoping that somebody's like, man, we're coming back from commercial any moment now. Hopefully somebody's going to come up to me and ask for a match.
He's back there. It is official.
Yeah, all those recaps is because nobody's walked up to Pierce to ask him for a match.
So if they show a replay 10 times, now we know why.
Burr Winning says WCPW. Did they have a match in WCPW?
Oh, maybe.
Man, those guys were the bee's knees for a spell.
I'm pretty sure they had a match in Progress.
I'm pretty sure they did. Like, it wouldn't surprise. Like, wasn't like the Atlas title? Did like Riddle win it off of Gunther or vice versa or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. That was like their mid card title, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah. I love when we sit here. We're like asking each other questions. We clearly don't fucking know.
No.
I think you are right about the Atlas. I think it was their mid card title though.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because they had the world title.
Echo says, yeah, they had a match in Progress. They had a match in Progress, WXW, and Evolve.
Oh, someone's saying here that where was this? John Chambers said Shayna had different gear on.
Oh,
so I think it was actually shot earlier in the day.
Yeah, all they needed to do is put up a little thing earlier.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, no, hell of a match though. It was all about establishing, hey, they're not clowns. They like to party, but they're business. And both Shayna and Rhonda, had a tougher time with them than they sort of figured they would.
Yeah. We are a new podcast here, and maybe we're like the opposite of Chat GPT. We only have our knowledge base is only from September 2021 and onward.
If that.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, Rhonda and Shayna, of course, get the win here. So what is this? I know there was
Carter a chance yet they're finished, though.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So it's like Rhonda if Shayna had not broken the pin, they would have won.
Yeah. Shayna barely came in and broke up the pin. Let's see here. But then what was the finish? So Baszler hits a knee to Chance and Carter. Gets a roll up for 2. Baszler hits a belly to back suplex. And Kirifune clutch on Caden Carter for the win.
This is about as good a performance as you can have in a loss. for Carter and Chance. Short of them winning the titles, it's a fantastic way of establishing them as a team to pay attention to.
So like, let me proffer this. The team that's going to beat Shayna and Rhonda, they're not even a team right now, right?
Probably not.
Okay. Because there's nobody on their level or even close. Maybe when Liv comes back, whenever that's going to be, her and Raquel can come back and do that, because Liv's return will be kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But like, there's no, and here's the thing, it's not that there's no other teams. They can make teams, and they have Carter and Chance, but the women's tag team division being taken as like a serious thing is kind of brand new, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's only like Rhonda's being like, hey, I just want to I mean, I think Shayna literally said this in an interview. Rhonda being in a tag team with her, and you sort of read between the lines, winning the titles, was a Rhonda demand.
Yeah.
She was like, I just want to tag team with my best friend because that sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. And hey, we can legitimize the women's tag division at the same time, which is phenomenal. That's awesome. But like, trying to think of anybody, like, who are they going to be in a real feud with? Like, that's going to be a good question.
What they could do, and I don't know if they will, but based on how this match went, I doubt it's the first time you introduce somebody, challenge the champions to their first match, have them lose, and in a great showing, only to come back around eventually.
Yeah, it's
once
possible,
they get some experience under their belt on Raw, to be the ones to take the titles off them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a couple names here in chat. Frolicious says Sonya and Chelsea. They're a terrific tag team.
Yeah.
Alba and Isla, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with them.
Yeah.
Maggie says, manifest it with me. Shayna and Rhonda lose to Becky and Charlotte. Maggie, if Becky and Charlotte get on the same page, that'll be a miracle. Or a returning Sasha and Naomi. I think that'd be awesome. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Either of those, I'd be totally cool with any of those. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it sort of illustrates my point, is that there are no big enough names for Rhonda and Shayna to really make me think, okay, they're going to give them like a big meaty feud, There's a bunch of people that I think if you build them up over time, including Chance and Carter, you build them up over time, then they'll get there.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Definitely. So we're backstage. Ricochet's warming up for his match. Bronson Reed walks up and says, well, if it isn't little Ricochet, help me out. 2 weeks ago, I ragdolled you, beat you, and yet you're in the Money in the Bank match and I'm not. Someone must really like you. Ricochet says, I don't know what you're talking about. I beat a 2-time Grand Slam champion in the Miz to qualify. You also had one. What happened? Oh, right. Nakamura ended your undefeated streak when he pinned you 1, 2, and then Reed cuts him off, says, I dominated Shinsuke. That was until, and that's when Nakamura walks up and says, I beat you. And Reed says, come on, man, you got me on a bad night. We both know next time it's a different result. And he walks off, as Ricochet says to Nakamura, like, I give you props for beating Reed last week, but tonight, especially Money in the Bank, I'm going to give you nothing but another L. And Nakamura says, that's big talk, Ricochet. Let's see if you can prove it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before we got that match.
Yeah, before that we had John.
Hey, did Gargano get that the Vision Pro thing before everybody else? Because this was very augmented reality.
Vision Pro. Look at you, you're like Vincent 95 trying to make relevant references.
Well, like that's what you got to do. Rob Bartlett was the guy's name they had on commentary at Raw like 3 times.
Yeah. God damn it, pal! We got to reference what's happening in the news today.
Gargano plunked down $3,500 to get his VR augmented reality headset. Are you gonna pony up for one of those, Steve?
Hell no! I don't want that shit. It's gonna reprogram my brain and shit. Hell no. That's crazy. Call me in 2033. When there's like a booty version that you can get.
Actually, I think that was released 10 years ago. It was called, what, Google Glass?
Boy, that went over like a wet fart. When it's good and solid technology about 10 years from now, that's when I'll be on board.
All right. But you don't look like you're walking around with ski goggles on all the time?
No, man, I have no desire for this shit. I mean, I saw one tweet about it. Somebody said something like, once this thing looks cool, then they might be onto something. But it ain't gonna look cool for a long time. It's gonna look really dorky for a long time. Yeah. So yeah.
That's the one thing Google Glass had going for it. It looked like he had a pair of glasses, like a little thing that went over your eye.
Yeah, they actually look kind of cool. It's just once it's all seamless, I don't know. And then you got to wait. I mean, honestly, within 20 years, it's going to be interesting to see, like, you got the glass or contact lenses, and then it's all integrated with AI, and like, we're not even people anymore. Anyways, next up, we have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ricochet. So there's this Gargano thing. He says the Gargano story is just getting started. Hey, John, somebody else is telling a story right now. Why don't you leave the storytelling to Cody Rhodes? It's his story.
Well,
you don't need your own story. Nah, you don't call it a story. Call it a tale. Call it anything else. Don't call it a story.
He did mention the way. He said he likes to hone his craft in my own special way.
Yeah.
He leaned into the way aspect
they need
of it.
to let that thing go. I love the way. I think they should bring him back, but it's like, when are they going to do any of this stuff?
You know what he should have said? The Johnny Gargano fairy tale is just getting started, because it ties in with what Candice said in her video package, and that's Ciampa's finishing moves. The fairy tale story.
Ending.
Fairy tale ending. Yes, sorry.
Yeah,
so
right. I know.
It would all tie together.
I know exactly why they're not calling us for these ideas, Larson. I don't know why.
We're a wealth of them.
He could be like, you think that the wrestling world is a big place, but sometimes WWE could be a small world after all.
Oh, there you go.
Because there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
So anyways, it's good that John's coming back, but I mean, I think they're just probably going to do the way, and they're going to have Ciampa come back, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
I would think so. This match was fun, and then Bronson Reed got involved and got a really good reaction from the crowd. Go back to Elimination Chamber. Bronson Reed was getting no reaction. None.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
You have him out there put on fun matches where he destroys people and he jumps off the top rope to do that tsunami thing. It's great.
Yeah.
He's showing a little bit of character inside and outside the ring. It's great.
No, I think it's awesome. And I was totally cool. Like, I didn't need... Here's the thing. This is a match. I don't even want a winner, because you need these guys to go in both strong into Money in the Bank. So it's like, I don't want to see... I kind of don't want to see a winner. And here you got Bronson Reed, who totally is going to be in Money in the Bank somehow, some way.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. So Heather's got it right here in YouTube chat. Says, that's right, Steve. All that stuff is eventually going to turn us into the Borg hive mind. My goodness gracious.
Not interested.
They don't look happy.
No, they look miserable.
They do. They look uncomfortable. They have to stand up when they sleep.
Yeah, all day.
All day
Completely
long.
bereft of personality or individuality.
Right, exactly. It sucks to be Borg, man.
Doesn't seem like much fun, no.
No, it doesn't.
Are there Borg concerts they get to go enjoy?
Hell no, man. You've seen enough Star Trek.
Borg movies?
No.
Is there Borg YouTube?
Borg tube?
Yeah.
No. Do they get to crank?
I hear you're going to ask that. No, absolutely not.
You don't think they crank in their coves?
Do they even have?
Do they have organs?
Yeah, the parts.
Do Borgs have rods?
I don't think no, I don't think they do.
I think they do have rods. Smooth. No, I think they do have rods, but they're growers, not showers.
All right. Because isn't that one in the Next Generation? They went to the nursery and there was like I can't remember the thing exactly, but they have the nursery where the young Borg
they had the cheesiest Borg babies.
Yeah,
you're right. They did. They had cheesy Borg babies. But I don't know if I caught wind that they would neuter the kids. I don't know. Not really territory I want to dive into.
Nope.
Next up, they replay the whole Valhalla Maxine thing from last week. Alpha Academy's backstage. Yeah. And Chad corrects Maxine that it's still just Otis, and Otis is like, tomata. And he's like, he pulls them in together. He's like, look, he's right. He's the reason we came together. The brains, the brawn, the beauty, the brand management. If you're going to be an alpha, you can't run away from a fight. Maxine's like, Otis has opened our eyes to our potential, but I have to face that witch. She came at me like a savage animal. Why are these Viking creeps even bothering us anyways? And Gable's like, I already addressed this. I provided my number one guy with the latest in Viking literature. I instructed him to study up, and I know the answer is in that big, beautiful brain of his. And he kisses Otis, and Maxine asks what he learned. And Otis says, we got to take him out with some deodorant. And Gable's like, okay, what else? I got to have the master teach the pretty lady how to take on the Viking lady. And Gable says, you might be right. I think you might be ready. But look, we can't train dressed like that. And she says, I have the perfect outfit in my locker. And she walks off. Did they do another segment? Because I don't remember what this was. Did they do something else?
That was the end of it. That was it.
Okay.
That was the extent. Oh, we forgot to mention that Bronson Reed interfered and then hit a tsunami. And just beat the hell out of Ricochet and Nakamura.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
That's
I thought
fine. We got
mentioned that.
distracted
Yeah.
by Borg talk. So.
Oh yeah, the Borg. Yeah. So Bronson Reed DQ'd that match. I don't know what the official thing is. You were right earlier. He attacked Nakamura first, but sometimes when somebody just comes in and starts attacking people willy-nilly, just no contact.
Again, the rule book's a sketch pad, so.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then we had Miz TV with special guest Cody Rhodes. So Miz is there first. He introduces Cody. Cody comes to the ring, and he's got, darn it, Cody. He's got his arm brace. I don't like when they call it a cast. It's not a cast. You can see the Velcro on it.
Right.
It's an arm brace. He's got it on over his suit sleeve like he just put it on before he went out for this segment, which he probably did.
Yeah, right.
So if you're wearing that all day, because the point of the whole the brace, the cast, whatever it is to keep the wrist immobile so it can heal. If you're taking that thing off to put your suit jacket on, you're not allowing any sort of bone-on-bone contact to create new bone. It's a major issue.
Hold on a second.
What?
We've known each other for a very long time and went to college together. If I recall correctly, you and I had the same major, which was film production.
Yeah, so
you're not a doctor. What do you know about bone on bone?
I've broken a bone before.
You've had many mishaps and accidents. We've gone over that.
Oddly enough, the only bone I've ever broken is this finger.
That is surprising. However, you're not Cody Rhodes. He is superhuman. He's got godlike powers. So who are you to dictate to him? He does?
No.
Who are you to dictate to him how to wear his cast?
Because if
his Cody Manium cast.
It's not titanium.
Number one, don't yell at me.
It's probably a fairly malleable metal. You took the metal chunk out of there. You can probably bend it with your bare hands.
I'm not sure I like these accusations. You're going to get us
here's the thing.
Sued for libel and slander.
Cody, if you want for me to get immersed in this story you're trying to tell, details matter.
You're talking to Cody a lot today. You were doing that in the pre-show. You were talking to him.
Because if you want people to buy in the... Hey, stop interrupting me, will you?
Listen.
Don't interrupt. Listen up. I'm trying to say
you got to use your baby faces and your bad guys.
It's a very simple thing.
Yeah.
You put the cast, you put the brace on, you put your suit coat on over it. There's no complaint. It's believable because that's how a normal person would do it.
He's not a normal person, though. He's a better person. He's better than normal. He's Cody Rhodes.
Oh, he's person plus, huh?
He's person plus, person at scale. That's what he
Human
is.
At scale. Get out of here with that nonsense.
I trust in Cody. I think he knows how to put on a titanium brace.
Anyways, let's move past this. So he comes to the ring. Miz says, "Shall we start?" Says, "You look dashing tonight. Let me ask you about last week. You named a bunch of cities and challenged Brock Lesnar, who beat you at Night of Champions, broke your arm. You want him to show up and fight you? Don't you think that's kind of stupid?" And Cody just says, "Wow, out of the gate. First question, Mike." And Miz says, "When I'm in the ring, I'm the Miz. First name the, last name Miz." And Cody goes, "Well, the Miz." I haven't heard it called stupid. I heard crazy. I heard that it took balls. You know, a teeny little bit about that, right? And so the crowd starts chanting tiny balls.
Yeah.
He says the Beast is on his annual hibernation, so you won't see him for a while, Miz says. But here on Miz TV, we love drama, we love controversy, we love surprises, and boy, do I have one. It's better than Brock being here. Since you have a historic family tradition, I thought I'd bring out another man, another multi-generational superstar who has dealt with the same stress of being that type of talent. Please welcome my secret guest, arguably the hottest superstar in WWE, Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, man.
So Dom makes his way out. Cody's like...
Miz is dancing to his theme, and it's hilarious. Yeah. It's so bad.
He was singing along to Cody's theme, and Cody's making his entrance.
Yeah. Boy, is this just me, or are the woes getting louder and louder?
They are. People like doing the woe.
They really love doing the woe. Even at Action Coast Wrestling. By the way, this past weekend, Action Coast Wrestling had a blast. Some really...
Great show.
Just great wrestling on that show. I gotta also give it up to our dude Magnum AD. You know, he used to own Action Coast Wrestling and then lost that via wrestling match and then won it back for us to own it in a wrestling match.
Via wrestling match, yes.
But like you and I, a couple of marks, we don't know much about the actual wrestling business, and so he's been like our wrestling Sherpa.
Yeah.
And so I want to give a special shout out and respect to Magnum AD for being there for us, for shepherding us through.
For showing us the way.
For showing us the way, really. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's our own Wrestling Plus guru.
Indeed.
So, I appreciate that. But yeah, the next show, August 5th. It's same day as SummerSlam. You know, that's a little indie show. We're the big leagues. And I don't know, given that we do the review and we do the stuff afterwards, not sure if we're actually going to be able to be there. Yeah. But that's sort of neither here nor there, because what really matters is the terrific action at Action Coast Wrestling.
It's the talent in Action Coast Wrestling.
Exactly. And if you're in the Sacramento area, Northern California area, you can watch SummerSlam with us. And then that ends around 8 o'clock, which is right when Action Coast starts. You just jam over there, go check it out. Or, you know what? Just watch SummerSlam later on, or like the first half of it, and then watch the rest of it later on. You get live graps, and you can watch the replay of SummerSlam.
Exactly.
It works.
Exactly. So Dom comes to the ring, takes a seat. Miz is about to speak. However, the crowd is just booing Dom, and Rhea says, "Quiet, Miz." Actually, Miz is about to speak. "Quiet, Miz. Dom has something he'd like to say." So that's when the crowd really starts booing. Yeah. And Miz shouts, "Let him talk." More boos. And then Cody goes, Hey. Don't boo Dom."
Oh, come on.
Just as sarcastic as possible.
And he sort of has a little smile on his face.
Yeah, because the crowd actually stops for a second.
Yeah, I know, right? He hasn't quite truly realized the power of his own voice. It's like that. It's like Preacher. So anyways, Dom tries again. He's like, Cody, I was happy when Miz invited me out here. I listened to you last week talking like you were the big dog in the yard. But for someone like me who's done hard time, you're a little birdie with a broken wing. I watched you rattle off this list of crappy towns that Brock can find you in, and then it hit me. I realized you're a bad father. You have a baby girl, right? You should be at home taking care of her, but instead you're here. You're just like Ray, a deadbeat dad. And so Cody gets up. He's like, I've got a ton of empathy for you, Dom. I know the 15 minutes you spent in prison was really rough. Hard times indeed. Look, you even have a worse prison tattoo than mine. After prison, you had a match at Mania with your father, but it was more of a public spanking. Nobody's perfect. I'm not. Ray isn't. Matter of fact, I know he made some terrible mistakes, and I know that because I'm looking at one. Oh, Lordy me, that was amazing. That was good.
Great. So Rhea and Dom get up like they're about to leave, and once Cody has his back turned, Dom goes over, whoop-ha, slaps him.
Whoop-ha.
And before Cody can really put it all together, Dom's hiding behind Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cody he's mad. And so Rhea's talking crap to him eventually. Rhea and Dom just leave. So I don't know. I mean, it seems like we're getting Cody Dom at some point soon.
I did put it on pay-per-view. I'm telling you, it's the most booed guy in the company versus the most over guy in the company. That's a pay-per-view match right there.
It is. Man. It is.
Yeah, that's good stuff. After that, we had Zoe Stark versus Natalya, qualifier for Money in the Bank. So of course, obviously Trish was involved in this. So at one point, Natty boots Zoe on the outside, and then Trish kicks Natty's knee out while the ref was checking on Zoe, which allowed Zoe to hit the Z360 to get the win. Yep. She moves on to Money in the Bank. Again, they gave this plenty of time. Really good match. Mm-hmm. And heck of a situation there for Zoe Stark, making her main roster debut and already in Money in the Bank match.
Yeah, exactly. Then Paul Heyman's backstage. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. I want to cordially invite you to join me Friday night when family drama plays out in front of your eyes when Jey Uso makes his historic choice. As the wise man, I'm tasked at times to deliver unpleasant news. No matter how bad it is, I have to deliver it. Even if I have to deliver it to your tribal chief, Roman Reigns. This is one of those times. The news is not pleasant. It'll rip apart the entire Anoa'i Fatu dynasty because this Friday, Jey Uso will make his choice, and Jey Uso will choose and stand by his brother, Solo. You can share a room with your twin Jimmy, but you'll never be closer to him than you are your tribal chief. This Friday, live on SmackDown, Jey Uso will acknowledge that fact, or else."
Ooh,
Jey is gonna be not
good, man.
Choosing Solo.
Jey
if anything, he's going to push and just be like, I'm not going to deal with this, and just walk away.
He's just gonna collapse into himself like he always does.
Yeah. It's good to do this.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hell of a segment, man. It's just banger after banger with his bloodline.
Really is. Yeah. So if Vince made any substantial change to the show, I'd guess this was it in terms of it being just a squash non-match as opposed to a squash match.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because Cedric and Shelton didn't even get an entrance. They had the jobber entrance, and at first I was like, "Wait a second, what the hell? Who's that?" Because I came in as a second late, which was all it took, and they were already fucking up Cedric. And I was like, wait a second, that's not a jobber, that's Cedric. Oh no, Cedric.
I know.
Oh yeah, so they just destroy these guys, and then they hit their double team finish pose over Cedric. No contest, but yeah, that's just yeah. So Jinder needs to teach these guys, even though they had plenty of time in NXT. Veers had matches. You gotta wait for the bell first.
Wait for the bell to ring and then do it. But
right, exactly.
I want they could do something like of substance with Cedric and Shelton. They're former tag champs.
You know, man, we haven't had a conversation about depth guys. This whole episode of Raw, not really a whole lot of depth guys. And I don't know if they even qualify for depth guys, even Larson. Ooh.
That's a bummer, man.
Yeah, I think they're kind of lower than depth guys now. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of interesting. Like we're always holding out hope. Where's Lashley been?
Not on TV.
Yeah, right? He's probably just taking vacation.
Could be. But he's over on SmackDown.
Oh, that's right. He's on SmackDown. Has he been on SmackDown?
Maybe once.
Anyways, my Chat GPT knowledge extends back to June 1st, 2023. So yeah, I don't know, man. They haven't done anything with those guys in a long time. Cedric's terrific. Obviously, Sheldon's terrific too. It's just Cedric is young. You'd think, okay, do something with him, you know?
Yeah.
But
I know.
I don't know why the whole Hurt Business reunion thing fell apart, but it seemed clear they were trying to do something with that.
Yeah. But now nothing. Then we got our main event. Seth Rollins taking on Damian Priest. Great match. Tons of fun.
Oh, man, this is so good, yeah.
It was really, really, really good. So at one point, Priest and Seth are both on the apron. Priest looks for a kick on Seth, misses. And when he misses, his leg is caught over the top rope. So then Seth hits him in the other leg, takes out his knee, lifts him up, hits him with a buckle bomb against a barricade close to the timekeeper area. And that one looked nasty. He puts Priest back in the ring. Finn shows up. Seth super kicks him. He gets back in the ring, and then Priest hits him with a lariat, south of heaven choke slam to get a 2 count. And so Priest is getting up, really favoring his shoulder. I wonder if it must have been the same shoulder that Finn hurt. I think it was.
Oh, yeah, huh?
From the buckle bomb.
Yeah.
And so Priest notices that Finn's ringside. He says, why are you here?
Yeah.
Not really angry, just exasperated. Why are you here?
Dude, come on. What's going on here?
Why are you here? And so he grabs Seth, looking for a razor's edge, but Seth slips out. He kicks Priest in the arm, the one he was selling, hits the forearm, the rolling forearm to Priest's neck, and then follows that with a stomp to get the win. And then afterwards, Finn gets in the ring, and him and Seth have a stare down.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know if this is going to be SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, or what, but that's a feud that I could see going a little while and being pretty damn good. Being pretty damn good.
Yep.
Would you like to answer some questions?
Sure, let's answer some questions.
Of course, as we said, as we usually remind y'all, if you want to leave a question here on Going In Raw, all you got to do is join us on the Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. $5 and up, you get access to the question threads, or click join, or just honestly, like sometimes you just hang out in the YouTube chat. I know we got over 500 people right now, but you might be one of the lucky ones to get a gifted membership from one of our awesome friendos that will gift memberships on occasion. Alicia, Maggie, John.
Speaking of members, Alicia just continued her membership 4 months.
Oh, nice.
Thank you so much, Alicia.
Thank you.
And then Alex Silva, new member. Welcome, Alex.
Welcome. Now they can get involved with the with
all the stuff you were talking about.
Yeah, everything I just talked about. Exactly. Thank you.
Everything.
First up, Guardian Ape says, with Seth versus Will Ospreay being a dream match circulating Twitter, what is your one crossover WWE AEW match if you could make it happen? So let's expand it to WWE and non-WWE, because Ospreay, he's working with AEW here and there, but he's a New Japan guy.
Yeah, he's a New Japan contracted wrestler, yes.
Mine would be Dominic Mysterio versus Eddie Kingston. The clash of personalities, I think, would be wildly fun.
Interesting. I mean, Seth versus Kenny Omega, that's high up there.
That's a big one.
Obviously, Roman versus Okada, that would be high up there.
Big one, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot.
LA Knight versus Malachi
Orange
Black.
Cassidy.
LA Knight versus Orange Cassidy. That's a good one. I like it. It's still like, I know this isn't WWE, anybody else, but like Orange Cassidy versus Yano, I really want to see happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be comedy gold.
Jerry Gold.
Cameron Bortolazzo here says, when will Vince McMahon being at Raw or being involved with changing things be considered non-news? I think we're close. If we hear several Raws that he's at and no substantive changes, there's certainly no train wreck episodes. It just kind of seems like it's business as usual, except he's there rather than phoning in changes, you know?
Right, yeah. It seems like it's an evolving process. Like, look, one thing we enjoy talking about here on the show because it interests us is the creative process. And whenever we catch wind of something that's going on in the creative process that is of note, then we're going to talk about it. This time it seemed to be non-news, but it's still kind of interesting. So that's what we talk about.
Elvin here says, love the thumbnail with that being the hint of Seth. Sorry, with Seth's constant digs towards Finn's history, do you see a scenario where Finn beats Seth for the title and Dom or Priest wins the briefcase and goes after Finn?
Ooh. Yeah, dude, I don't know. If Finn wins the title and Damian Priest wins the briefcase, that could be really, really interesting. But also tragic because I don't want the Judgment Day to do anything but be friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mike Romo says, hey, Steven and Larson, my girlfriend's family lives in Sacramento. We're going to visit this summer. When is the next ACW show? It is August 5th.
August 5th.
It's the anniversary show. It's called 12.
12.
Do you know why it's called 12?
12th anniversary.
12th anniversary. You got that right.
Adam Fella here says, other than Matt Stryker and Dean Douglas, what wrestler would you want as a high school teacher? Xavier Woods.
Take the New Day out of it. It's your answer
crap.
for everything fun. It's Xavier Woods. Who would I want for my teacher? Also, we can't say Cal Jack, who was an actual teacher, and he seems like an absolutely lovely one.
Yes.
Who would I want? Yeah.
Nikki Cross. She's got her master's in something.
Oh, right on. That's cool. Nikki Cross, but in character Nikki Cross.
Yes.
Sanity Nikki Cross.
I don't remember where she got her master's in, but I know she's got her master's in something.
Eric Young.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen him teach before.
It's true.
Yeah. And then part of his curriculum is killing him. We saw that in Impact.
Oh, he teaches design then, yes.
Yeah. He's like, I thought I was going to learn about graphic design. Wrong. Now you have to cut the...
Whoa,
you have to,
hold on a second.
What?
Your boy Bryce says, I had Hangman as a teacher. I know he was a teacher.
I know he was a teacher, too. That's awesome.
But someone here actually had him. That's crazy.
I feel like your boy Bryce has been around for a while because I swear I thought I remembered one of the friendos having Hangman as his teacher.
Gotcha.
Or maybe we just have several of Hangman's old teachers.
It could be.
Eddie Dennis. Would you like Eddie Dennis as your teacher? He's
no,
a headmaster.
He was a headmaster.
Burt Wenninger mentions him.
Mayor Planet Houston here says, what will be the main event match of Money in the Bank? You have whatever the bloodline match is, assuming it's Roman and Solo against the Usos, because then you still have the possibility that someone could try to cash in a Roman at the end.
See, I would say whatever the World Heavyweight Championship match is for that reason, and there could be a successful cash in.
Oh, that's a good answer too. Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, wow. Jesse Helsia says if WWE factions were fast food restaurants, who'd be who? He says he thinks the Bloodline would be McDonald's, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's the biggest one.
Yeah.
What about Judgment Day? What fast food restaurant would they be? They're our favorite. I mean, it's Del Taco, right?
It's Del Taco. Of course it's Del Taco.
Yeah.
What about Imperium?
Oh, man. Imperium Wiener Schnitzel.
Okay. What about the OC? Burger King?
Yeah, dude. They're Burger King. I love Burger King, but I recognize what Burger King is. One good thing, the long boy chicken sandwich and a bunch of lumps. Oh, Well, no, I love Mia Yim and I love Anderson and Gallows. They're great. But
Yeah, Mia
dude,
Yim's great.
they're hella Burger King, dude. Who's Taco Bell?
Oh yeah, who are the Brawling Brutes?
Oh man, the Brawling Brutes. I don't know. I feel like we just did the best joke we had.
Yeah, let's
move on.
Move on. Nico here says, how much different would this bloodline story have been if we were to get to this point, assuming Cody had won the undisputed title at Mania? There's no reason for Jimmy or Jay to actually have much fear in Roman, because Solo would be like, you don't have the title anymore. Why should I care about you?
Roman's got the power.
Yep.
He's got the power.
Yep.
The power is the title.
Yep.
So I guess I put this tweet out there last night. There were some conversations had, right? And there's the story they're telling right now is the next logical story. And the Usos being the protagonist of said story, they need to go up against the heaviest odds possible. If Roman's running around with his dick out but no title, guess what? Why do they care?
Yep.
They could have told other stories. Yeah. They could have gone a different way. But this story that they're telling now, in my opinion, was the logical next step. It's the next chapter. They can tell a story about Roman losing that title, in the future.
And hopefully they do. Yeah.
There's still fertile ground for that.
Oh, yeah.
But the next logical thing is, what if Roman wins and the Usos lose? What then? That's why Roman needs the title for this story. This story they are telling right here, the writing that they're telling right now, only makes sense with Roman having the title. And I'm sorry, and here's the thing, this is why this is a legitimate argument, because who's number one Cody fan?
Steve.
Well, it's actually Maggie, but I'm number 2 Cody fan behind Maggie.
All right.
And I firmly believe that him losing was the right creative call. And it can't be argued from a business standpoint either.
Yep.
It was the right call. Cody's more over now than he's ever been.
Look at the numbers that Bloodline segment got on SmackDown this week. Almost 3 million.
I know. Huge. It made sense from every standpoint. And scary-ass Roman with that title. Like, if you don't have the title in WWE, you're just another dude, right? Yeah. You're just sort of running around doing whatever. Yep. But it was the right move.
Yeah. Just really because Roman's a main eventer, he's Roman Reigns, that doesn't make him head of the table.
Right, exactly.
Being champion.
Yeah.
And all the benefits that come with being champion makes him the head of the table, the tribal chief. You take that title away from him, he has no claim to any of that.
You can't politic. You can't do any of that stuff without the title. Yeah.
Nope. And hopefully we will see the story when Roman loses.
Isn't it surprising and refreshing just how much quality storytelling they've been able to get out of the tribal chief setup.
I know.
Out of all this stuff, they've been able to consistently book really good stories time and time again. And there's so many more chapters to tell if they want to. I mean, this is going to be the story in wrestling.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, it really is. Let's see here. Real NPR says, with Forbidden Door around the corner, in the zero chance that WWE and New Japan did have their own joint pay-per-view, what would that pay-per-view be called? If WWE and New Japan did have one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, WWE did a pay-per-view or a special in Japan called Rising Sun. Is that what it was called? No.
I mean the one that had Owens and Finn Balor on it?
Yeah. What was it called?
No, it was called Beast in the East.
Beast in the East.
That's what it's called because it was Brock against Kofi, I think.
Beast in the East.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't make any sense then. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it'd be called then.
I don't know either. Time More here says, with James Bond theme they went with in the Money in the Bank advertisement, which wrestler would make a great James Bond and who would make a good Bond villain? I mean, Roman would make a great Bond villain.
Oh my gosh, he'd be awesome. Could you imagine Jay as James Bond, and anytime there's any adversity, he just put his head down and start shaking?
Does this?
He rubs his temples.
Does this?
Yeah. Good, Mr. Bond. I see you've reached my lair. Now I'll show you my plan. He just starts rubbing his temple and puts his head down. Oh, what's wrong, Mr. Bond? Do you need an aspirin?
That'd be great.
Oh, great. That'd be amazing. Yeah. This is a good question off the bat. Anthony F. Content says, you guys are throwing the Going in Raw summer pool party at your local public pool. You've spent all your budget renting the place, so your guests have to provide food and beverages. Which wrestlers are invited and what are they bringing? He says,
you invite Baron Corbin.
Yeah, exactly. Invite Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin and Heavy Machinery.
Yeah.
They'll bring the meat.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's Baron. He manages the grill.
He also says, bonus question, what wrestling themes make up the summer playlist?
Ooh,
you got to put Shibata on there. It has to be uplifting stuff. So like the New Day, Shibata.
Kaze ni Nare then.
Kaze ni Nare. Yeah, that's a good one. I think Sami Zayn's has some pep in the step.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Becky Lynch's has some pep in the step.
That's good. Asuka's old theme.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, those are all good.
Bear Winning says Pretty Deadly's new theme.
Yeah, that's right. And then just throw some ABBA in there because who cares?
Yeah.
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 Burger King is the OC.
Alex Foster here says the men's tag titles split and the women's tag titles end up staying apart. Does WWE run the risk of having too many titles? No, no, so long as they tell some interesting stories.
Also, you keep the brand split relatively hard. Like if you notice, there was
apart from Heyman, no crossover. I don't think.
I don't even count Heyman, to be honest with you. Like that dude's going to be advertising SmackDown Bloodline stuff, so that doesn't matter. But like, they kept people off.
Yep.
Justin Reed with Super Chat here to close us out says, what people have been saying, all of the Cody should have won stuff had Roman not been gone for a month, or did his vacation hurt the bloodline? No, the way they built that story made me convinced that Cody was going to win. It really did. The big return,
everything about it. Kevin and Sami, reuniting and going after the Usos. You thought, all right, Usos lose. That's the first story beat. And I mean, it was the first story beat, but it's just they're taking more time with the story than we thought they were going to.
Yes, sir.
Everything seemed to be a lie that Cody was going to win at WrestleMania.
We're also sort of used to WWE. It's like, okay, well, they're not really going to keep this going. Like they're going to get out while the getting's good. But it's like they actually seem invested in mining the most stuff that's still interesting from the story, which is kind of unheard of. It really is. Like, I'm sorry, but that's why this is probably going to end up being the best story in wrestling in history.
Yep.
That or Von Wagner's baby pictures with him and a giant scar on his head is one of the two. I can't toss it.
Yeah, who knows where that's going to lead.
Yeah. Stone. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.
Rebel Heart's another good idea there.